Well, for the first time in many weeks, Dalton trustees and Mayor Tiffany Henyard held a public meeting together, but not at Village Hall.
But you don't even have a sense to even look in our face. But you rather just steal our money and do what you want.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Doon, Illinois, is at the center of a major controversy involving lawsuits, restraining orders, eviction notices, and federal investigations. This escalating situation goes beyond typical local political drama, resembling a reality TV show plot unfolding in real time. Tensions are high, and it appears that the drama surrounding her is intensifying with each passing day.
Has reversed some of Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard's decisions. At last night's village board meeting, Henyard announced a 30-day temporary...
The small suburban town of Doon, Illinois, just outside Chicago, has become the epicenter of a political and legal battle involving Mayor Tiffany Henyard. What began as a routine local governance issue has rapidly evolved into an unprecedented crisis, marked by a series of legal confrontations, accusations of authoritarian tactics, and a fractured leadership structure. At the heart of this escalating drama is Henyard's contentious leadership style and her relentless efforts to consolidate power, which have led to a toxic dynamic with the Village Board of Trustees. The result has been an increasingly chaotic power struggle, with residents watching as their community is torn apart by the bitter divisions between Henyard and the board. The legal disputes between Henyard and the board have reached an intense and fever-pitched level, highlighted by courtroom clashes, heated arguments, and controversial decisions. Henyard's ongoing efforts to centralize control over the town have prompted fierce resistance from the board, who accuse her of overreach and authoritarianism. This long-standing conflict took a dramatic turn when a Cook County judge intervened, issuing a temporary restraining order to halt some of Henyard's most significant appointments, including her controversial choice of Ronald Burr as the new police chief. This court ruling underscored the deep divisions within the local government, with the board successfully challenging Henyard's moves, arguing that they were an overstep of her authority. The legal challenges are only the tip of the iceberg. Henyard's push to consolidate power has not only alienated the Board of Trustees, but also created a chaotic atmosphere within the community. Political infighting has paralyzed local governance, stalled essential projects, and exacerbated the town's financial difficulties. The residents, already struggling with financial issues, find themselves caught in the crossfire of a political battle that appears to prioritize personal ambitions over the well-being of the community. Supporters of Henyard argue that she is a bold, transformative leader, fighting against entrenched opposition to bring much-needed change to Doon. They claim she is challenging a system that has long resisted reform. However, her critics see her leadership in a much darker light. They accuse her of disregarding the town's established rules, flouting checks and balances, and operating unilaterally to maintain her grip on power. For her detractors, the court's intervention in blocking Burr's appointment represents a significant victory for accountability and proper governance. The restraining order, which prevents Burr's appointment, highlights the profound extent to which the power struggle has infiltrated the town's key institutions. The appointment of Burr, which was meant to address pressing public safety concerns, sparked fierce debate. Trustees argued that the process was rushed, lacked transparency, and violated established protocols. Court's ruling only strengthened their concerns, revealing Henyard's growing reputation for making controversial, high-stakes decisions that bypass normal procedures. Her opponents argue that this behavior reflects a broader pattern in her leadership, one that focuses on consolidating personal control rather than fostering collaboration or building consensus. As the legal and political battles rage on in courtrooms and public meetings, the town's governance has been rendered almost paralyzed. Vital decisions are delayed or derailed by infighting, leaving critical issues unaddressed. For Henyard, the stakes are high. It's not just about leadership, it's about survival. She faces mounting criticism, not only from the board but also from an increasingly vocal public. Allegations of financial mismanagement, questionable appointments, and excessive spending on personal security have intensified public discontent. Her critics argue that Henyard's aggressive defense of her power is less about serving the community and more about protecting her position in office. Despite the growing discontent, Henyard remains defiant. She paints herself as the victim of a political sabotage campaign, accusing her detractors of attempting to undermine her efforts to improve the town. At rallies and public appearances, she rallies her supporters with passionate rhetoric, positioning the opposition as an obstacle to her vision for change. However, the reality in Doon paints a different picture. The town is mired in dysfunction, with political rivalries taking precedence over governance. Vital projects, from public safety improvements to infrastructure development, are stalled or neglected. Many residents see the ongoing political drama as an embarrassment, with the town's reputation tarnished by the infighting and mismanagement. Public confidence in Henyard's leadership is rapidly eroding. While she continues to defend her actions, doubts about her judgment and priorities have cast a long shadow over her administration. As the power struggle plays out, residents are left wondering if their town will ever recover from the chaos. The prolonged battle has left a trail of destruction, with important issues pushed aside in favor of political maneuvering. What's more, the town's police department, central to the controversy over Burr's appointment, finds itself in disarray. With leadership in flux and internal tensions rising, the department's ability to address rising public safety concerns has been significantly compromised. The fallout from Henyard's actions is being felt throughout the town. The legal disputes, courtroom drama, and ongoing feuds have seeped into every aspect of daily life in Dune. The town is now a battleground for political and legal forces, and residents are left wondering if the community will ever emerge from this storm of controversy and dysfunction. For many, the drama has become a symbol of mismanagement, and it remains unclear whether Henyard can regain control of the situation or if the town will continue to spiral into further chaos.
It's a special board meeting because business has not gotten done at 2 previous meetings, so that's some progress there, but this meeting was not without it.
The political tensions in Dalton, Illinois have reached a breaking point as Mayor Tiffany Henyard faces a mounting array of legal and federal challenges. Accusations that her power-driven governance has bypassed procedural and legal norms are at the heart of a growing controversy. Zomer muttered, Critics claim that Henyard's controversial appointments, such as her attempt to name Ronald Burr as police chief, violate Illinois municipal ordinances that require such appointments to receive proper board clearance. Her detractors argue that these actions go beyond technical violations, highlighting a critical safeguard designed to prevent the consolidation of unchecked power in the hands of a single individual. The village board, wary of Henyard's maneuvers, has resisted her apparent attempts to stack the local government with loyalists, creating a standoff that reflects Dalton's broader struggles with accountability and effective governance. As tensions escalated, the courts became involved, with a Cook County judge issuing a temporary restraining order to block these appointments. Providers remain unclear about sites or the scope of their potential support. This legal decision marks a significant victory for those seeking to limit Henyard's reach, signaling a strong pushback against her perceived overreach and further highlighting the deep divisions within the town's leadership. However, this legal battle is just one facet of the broader and intensifying conflict surrounding Henyard's leadership. The tension in Dalton is rooted in more than just her perceived power grab. It reflects a deeper struggle over control, transparency, and the fundamental question of who governs the community. Henyard's critics argue that her actions underscore a deliberate strategy to consolidate power, marginalize dissenting voices, and create a local government that serves her interests rather than those of the public. These concerns have contributed to a climate of distrust and disillusionment among residents, who are witnessing their local government devolve into a spectacle of infighting and courtroom battles. Despite the mounting opposition, Henyard has remained defiant, publicly asserting her resolve to hold her ground in the face of criticism. She frames the situation as a battle for the future of Dalton, positioning herself as a transformative leader fighting against obstructionist forces. Her supporters echo this sentiment, presenting Henyard as someone pushing for meaningful change against entrenched political resistance. However, as the stakes continue to rise, the battle for control of Dalton has shifted beyond local politics. Reports indicate that federal authorities, including the FBI, have turned their attention toward Henyard's administration. The investigation centers on allegations of financial improprieties under her leadership, further compounding her legal troubles. The scope of the probe reportedly includes potential mishandling of village finances, adding a layer of gravity to the already contentious situation. For many observers, the involvement of federal investigators signals just how deeply entrenched the problems in Dalton's leadership have become. The investigation raises critical questions, not only about the immediate allegations, but also about the broader implications for governance in a community already struggling with significant economic and administrative challenges. The federal probe has only amplified the stakes for Henyard's administration. Allegations of mismanagement and financial improprieties have struck a nerve with Dalton residents, who have long struggled with financial instability. Critics have pointed to discrepancies between Henyard's claims of bringing millions into the village and the persistent budget deficits that continue to plague the community. Accusations of excessive spending, including reports of tens of thousands spent on Amazon purchases, have fueled the fire of discontent, casting doubt on Henyard's stewardship of taxpayer resources. The federal investigation not only threatens Henyard's political career, but also risks further undermining public trust in the local government. With her defiance intensifying in the face of these mounting legal challenges, Henyard continues to portray herself as the target of politically motivated attacks. She maintains that her critics are attempting to derail her reform agenda and prevent meaningful progress in Dalton. Yet her critics argue that her actions reflect a broader disregard for the checks and balances that are necessary for effective governance. The temporary restraining order blocking her appointments has underscored what many see as a recurring pattern in Henyard's leadership style, one characterized by unilateral decision-making and a lack of collaboration with the board. In Henyard's narrative, these conflicts are portrayed as necessary battles for reform, but in the eyes of her opponents, they are the consequences of overreach and hubris. The ongoing power struggle continues to play out in courtrooms, public meetings, and the media, with the future of Dalton hanging in the balance. And of course, it's the darkest day of the year, December 7th. For the community, the stakes extend far beyond the drama surrounding Henyard's leadership. Residents have voiced frustration that the ongoing disputes are detracting from more pressing local issues, such as public safety, infrastructure, and economic development. While some view the board's opposition and the federal scrutiny as necessary checks on Henyard's authority, these challenges have contributed to significant delays in governance and decision-making. But in the midst of these battles, the promise of leadership that prioritizes the needs of the town feels increasingly out of reach. As the conflict continues to unfold, Dalton stands at a crossroads. The future of the community will depend on the outcome of this power struggle, with critical decisions about governance, leadership, and accountability hanging in the balance. The ongoing political theater, while captivating, has created a climate of dysfunction that threatens to further destabilize a town already grappling with economic and administrative challenges. The question remains whether Dalton can overcome these obstacles and rebuild a government that works for its residents, or if the ongoing infighting will continue to hold the community hostage.
That she leased Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is facing serious allegations of misusing public funds to support a lavish lifestyle while the community struggles financially. Reports suggest that Henyard has been spending taxpayer money on expensive dining, luxury travel, and extravagant parties. One of the most alarming accusations involves a block party she allegedly funded with $85,000 of village funds, featuring performers like rapper Holiday and R&B singer Kiki Wyatt. These revelations have sparked public outrage, with many questioning her ethical use of taxpayer dollars. Further fueling concerns, it has been reported that Dalton's financial expenditures are also habitating the village squad's tent. It has used the village's credit card for substantial personal purchases, including $43,000 worth of items on Amazon in a single day. These reports have raised serious questions about her spending practices, especially as Dalton's financial situation worsens. The village's general fund balance has plummeted from $561 million in 2022 to a deficit of $365 million by May 2024, triggering alarms among residents. The stark contrast between Henyard's extravagant spending and the town's financial collapse has intensified criticism of her leadership. Many accuse her of prioritizing personal gain over the welfare of the community, leading to a deepening mistrust of her administration. Despite the mounting controversy, Henyard has maintained her position, with some arguing that her defiant approach only reinforces the narrative of a leader out of touch with the needs of her constituents. As the financial troubles of Dalton continue to deepen, the public is demanding accountability. These ongoing investigations serve as a stark reminder of how one leader's actions can have far-reaching consequences for a community already grappling with multiple challenges. Residents are left questioning whether Henyard's leadership is more about preserving her power and lifestyle than serving the public good.
As another board meeting got canceled because of a lack of quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting, as trustees expressed concerns.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, has found herself at the center of a rapidly escalating political and personal crisis. Once seen as a promising political figure, Henyard's career is now mired in a web of legal, financial, and ethical troubles. Her leadership in Dalton, a community already struggling with economic challenges, has been marked by allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and personal misconduct, causing widespread public disillusionment. Henyard's personal finances have also been under scrutiny. Recently, she and her partner Kamal Woods have been facing eviction from their rental property in Dalton. Their landlady Jenna Hull claims that the couple has failed to make rent payments since August, leaving them owing over $5,000 in back rent and late fees. Hull filed an eviction lawsuit, but has struggled to serve the couple, as they have allegedly made it difficult by changing locks and security codes, preventing access for repairs and maintenance. This personal financial trouble only adds to the mounting concerns about Henyard's leadership, with critics seeing it as a reflection of her broader governance issues. Simultaneously, Henyard is entangled in bitter legal conflicts with the Dalton Board of Trustees. Tensions between the mayor and the board have reached a boiling point, prompting the Illinois Attorney General to step in. The The Attorney General ruled that Dalton had violated the Open Meetings Act, forcing meetings to be relocated to larger venues to accommodate the increasing number of disgruntled residents eager to voice their concerns. These legal and political disputes are fueled by widespread allegations of corruption and financial mismanagement within Henyard's administration. Henyard has faced accusations of using village funds for lavish personal expenses. One of the most glaring examples involves an extravagant block party she allegedly funded with $85,000 in taxpayer money. The event featured high-profitable performers, such as rapper Jay Holiday and singer Keisha Cole. In addition to this, reports claim that Henyard used the village's credit cards to make personal purchases, including more than $43,000 spent on Amazon in a single day. Critics argue that these expenses are a stark contrast to Dalton's financial reality. The town's general fund, once at a surplus of $561 million in 2022, has now plummeted to a deficit of $365 million by May 2024, raising alarms about the stability of the village's finances under Henyard's leadership. As Dalton's financial disarray deepens, Henyard faces mounting legal threats, including multiple lawsuits and federal investigations. The FBI is reportedly examining allegations of financial improprieties, focusing on her questionable spending and how her administration has managed public funds. This federal scrutiny has added another layer of pressure, amplifying concerns about the future of the town and Henyard's ability to maintain control. Public discontent continues to grow as Dalton residents, already angry about her spending habits, are now deeply concerned about the growing national and federal attention her actions are attracting. The scrutiny has only heightened the sense that Henyard is no longer in touch with the needs of her community. Despite the increasing calls for accountability, Henyard has remained defiant. She portrays herself as the victim of a political conspiracy, insisting that the criticism and legal troubles are part of a concerted effort to undermine her leadership. However, this stance has only served to highlight the growing divide between her and the people she is supposed to serve. Her refusal to address the many allegations against her has left many questioning her sincerity and leadership. Henyard continues to act as though she can weather the storm of bad press, refusing to acknowledge the ethical and financial issues that have eroded her once strong support base. Despite her many legal and financial hurdles, Henyard remains adamant that she is fighting against a corrupt system that seeks to tear her down. What should be seen as a necessary reckoning for her actions is, in her view, merely another politically motivated attack meant to weaken her power. Adding to the complications surrounding Henyard's leadership is the fracturing of her inner circle. Longtime allies have begun to distance themselves from her, with reports suggesting staff resignations and rumors of betrayals. One of her key former allies, Keith Freeman, is now reportedly cooperating with federal investigators. Henyard's staff members rank young Heightened, the head of the staff of medical experiments at the Institute for Genetic Relations and Pathogens. Freeman, who himself faces legal troubles related to bankruptcy fraud, is said to be providing details about Henyard's financial dealings, further undermining her credibility and putting her political future at risk. Meanwhile, Henyard's efforts to remain in power continue to fuel resentment among residents. Many feel that they are witnessing a local government that is more focused on personal gain than on serving the public good. As financial issues, legal battles, and corruption allegations pile up, Henyard's ability to hold on to her position becomes increasingly tenuous. Despite the mounting evidence against her, she remains determined to hold on, presenting herself as a victim rather than a leader in crisis. The situation in Dalton has reached a critical juncture, with lawsuits pending, an FBI investigation looming, and Henyard's credibility continuing to erode. Residents are demanding accountability, but Henyard's defiant stance and refusal to confront her mismanagement are prolonging the crisis. With each passing day, the town of Dalton finds itself caught in a cycle of dysfunction, raising serious questions about whether Henyard's leadership is more about preserving her power and lifestyle than serving the community she was elected to lead.
Clown! We will continue to speak out against wrongdoing.
Why won't you step in?
Tiffany Henyard's journey from a landslide victory in 2021 to becoming one of the most embattled mayors in the nation has been a swift and dramatic fall. The story of Henyard's political career is one of high hopes turned into deep disillusionment, and the road to her current predicament is riddled with questionable decisions, escalating legal battles, and increasing public outcry. Henyard was initially seen by many as a fresh face with the energy and vision to bring new leadership to Dalton, Illinois. She was celebrated for her promise of change and a new direction for the village, with many residents hopeful that her administration would usher in an era of progress. However, it didn't take long for things to unravel. From the moment Henyard took office, her spending habits raised red flags. She threw a lavish inauguration party costing around $15,000, which was supposed to be covered by her campaign funds. Instead, the village footed the bill. This was the first sign of mismanagement that would later escalate into a series of high-profitable financial controversies. As her term progressed, reports began to surface about Henyard's extravagant spending on things like luxury trips, block parties, and even a lavish $85,000 event featuring high-profile performers such as Jay Holiday and Keisha Cole. The public began to notice a disturbing pattern. While the village's finances were rapidly spiraling out of control, Henyard seemed more interested in enjoying a luxury lifestyle than focusing on the needs of her constituents. As Dalton's financial situation worsened, with the village's general fund balance plummeting dramatically, residents began to demand answers. They watched as Henyard's spending habits only grew more extravagant, while the town's budget deficit ballooned. The growing financial crisis prompted questions about where all the money was going and how Henyard was managing the village's funds. Despite mounting public scrutiny, Henyard's response was to double down. She refused to step down, despite calls from residents and even trustees for her to resign. Instead of addressing the concerns head-on, Henyard lashed out at her critics. In a 90-minute, rambling Facebook Live video, she accused her political opponents of being part of a power grab, claiming they were attempting to discredit her for their personal benefit. She also threatened to arrest those who criticized her, but these threats have failed to materialize in the past, further diminishing her credibility. It seems that these outbursts were less about genuine concern for her political survival and more about deflecting attention from her growing list of problems, and what problems they are. Henyard is currently under investigation by the FBI, with federal authorities looking into her quotes, public spending practices, end quote, and the handling of public funds. She's also facing multiple lawsuits, adding to the pressure that has already been building from residents and the media. On top of this, she and her partner Kamal Woods are facing eviction from their rental property in Dalton due to non-payment of rent, reflecting a deeper pattern of financial instability. In short, Henyard's situation has become untenable. Even her once close allies are starting to turn away. One such ally, Keith Freeman, Henyard's former right-hand man, is reportedly now cooperating with federal investigators. Freeman, who himself faces legal troubles related to bankruptcy fraud, is said to be spilling details about Henyard's financial dealings, which could lead to further damage to her reputation and political future. This breach in Henyard's inner circle has further compounded the challenges she faces, as her credibility continues to crumble. Despite all this, Henyard remains defiant. She has repeatedly stated that she will not step down, and even declared that she is running for re-election. In a bold and somewhat bizarre statement, she compared herself to former President Donald Trump, claiming she would win re-election in a landslide. Just like Trump, I'm coming in on a landslide, she asserted, a statement that raised eyebrows given the current state of her administration. The defiance with which Henyard continues to confront her critics is part of what makes this story so compelling. It's not just the legal battles, the financial scandals, or power struggles that make Henyard's story so fascinating, it's her sheer determination to hold on to her position. Despite the growing chorus of voices calling for her resignation, and the mounting legal and financial pressures, Henyard refuses to back down. Some may respect her perseverance, but many Dalton residents have grown increasingly tired of her combative attitude and deflection of responsibility. One YouTube user summed up the frustration succinctly: "This girl has been yoking these people's chain for 2 years and they are unable to put a muzzle on her." Alright, others believe that Henyard may not be acting alone, suggesting that she doesn't have the capacity or know-how to engage in the questionable activities she's accused of without help. This sentiment resonates with many Dalton residents, who are beginning to see a pattern of mismanagement, corruption, and self-interest in Henyard's leadership. They are frustrated by her refusal to focus on the town's needs, instead of using her position for personal gain. With each passing day, Dalton's financial and political crisis deepens. The village continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons, and residents are increasingly fed up with the spectacle that has consumed their local government. The sheriff has even been called multiple times to serve Henyard and Woods with legal documents related to their eviction, adding another layer of drama to an already tense situation. As for what lies ahead, it's difficult to say. Henyard's ability to hold on to power seems increasingly tenuous, but she has shown time and again that she is not someone who will go down without a fight. Whether she can persevere through the FBI investigation, the lawsuits, and the growing public dissatisfaction remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: Dalton deserves better than the spectacle that Henyard's administration has become. So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Will she survive these scandals and somehow win re-election, or is this the beginning of the end for her political career? Only time will tell, but for now, Dalton residents are left to watch as their village continues to make headlines for all the wrong reasons. The saga is far from over, and the stakes couldn't be higher.